snow?
Do I want some snow?
Saturday?
Well, it's no. I lived in Colorado for a long time, and I had opportunities to see snow in Chicago and Detroit. We're in the state of Texas. We're not supposed to see snow, are we?
Right. No, hopefully not.
Coach, I know you're used to seeing hits by Quandre and maybe Jordan, but when you see a hit by like Michael, the one that he put on, what was your thoughts?
We nicknamed him the Worm. I say the Worm that made a play. It's a beautiful thing to see him put his face on somebody like that. It got us all excited. To see him, right now, where he is and how he's developed this season. I mean, everybody expect for Quandre to make that hit, or Jordan Hicks, but to see the Worm make that play, I mean, I got to be honest now, I really got excited. I mean, for him, for the team, it was just a lot of fun.
He said that's not something he's normally accustomed to. He's usually shy of contact. Is that something you guys had to work on with him at all?
He has developed. He hadn't been in that position, a lot, playing safety, playing corner, playing nickelback. It's always been there for him, and I think the opportunity that he had, the trust that we have in him, his teammates, that they have him also, you're starting to see those things out of him right now. And he's playing with a lot of confidence, and he needs to keep playing that way. We need him to keep performing the way he's performing.
How do you prepare for a player like Tyreek Hill, who has such explosive speed and can be a threat as a runner and as a receiver and a returner for that matter too?
He has to be the main focus of what you're doing. He aligns a wide receiver, running back, punt returner, kick returner. If we get him in space one-on-one, we're in trouble. It has to be a team concept. We have to keep him corralled, don't let him outside. We have to keep him between the hash marks. And that's our game plan right now, to keep turning him back. Don't let him get to that sideline, because if he turns up, he turns into an invisible man. My man can fly. He really can. It's a scary thought of how fast he can change the game.
What's happened to them in the last 3 games?
For Oklahoma State, when you go back and look at them injuries, they've had some injuries. Quarterback situation early on, key guys been nicked up, and that's a big part of it. When you have certain players on your team with injuries, you can always say when the next guy steps up, well, this is college football, 85 scholarships, parity all over this country. People don't have the depth anymore, and they're in that situation right now. And they've had 2 weeks to get ready for us. They've had a chance for certain guys to get healthy. So we expect to see their best Saturday night.
Have you had this game circled on your calendar going against Oklahoma State, Gundy?
No. It's who's ever the next week, that game's been circled for me. It's, to me, every game is that important. I still have friends back in Stillwater. I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun going back to see them, having a chance to coach against Oklahoma State, but going against Baylor, I had that same feeling. Going against Oklahoma, I had that same feeling. So I don't put any special emphasis on any particular game. They all are special for me. Every game's a championship game, whether we're 5-0 or 0-5. And that's the approach I've always taken as a coach. The next game, the game you're finna go into right now, that is by far the most important game, no matter who it is.
Coach, can you talk about your linebacker position, specifically the guys behind Edmond and Hicks right now that you like for depth and for looking forward to next year?
Peter Jenkins is a young man, I believe, out of Dallas Skyline. He has a lot of upside, a lot of potential. I mean, he's a guy that's going to play for us. We have some young guys that, at this time they're being redshirted. And we think potentially they could be good players, but the key word I'm using right now is potential. You just have no idea what they're going to turn out to be. You hope that because they're athletic, they can run, they have a great change of direction and space, that they're going to be good players, but we're going to miss those 2 guys now. We really are. I mean, Jordan Hicks gets everybody lined up, the front, the secondary. He makes checks for us. And Steve is really playing well for us right now. Has made a lot of plays. I mean, those 2 guys are going to be hard to replace. I mean, so those young guys stepping up, it's going to be really big shoes to fill.
What do you like about Cameron Hampton?
Right now, I just like his attitude, his enthusiasm. And he walks around like he's a tough guy. But right now, he hasn't done anything. We'll find out in the spring how tough he is. I'm from Dallas. I'm the guy. That's your haircut make you the guy. That's about always making you the guy. You cut your hair. That's a different story altogether. But I don't know. He's an undersized guy. He's gotten bigger and stronger. And we'll find out this spring if he can actually go out there and play for us.
Why don't you think things ended better for you at Oklahoma State when you were there?
Well, you had a new staff. Sometimes things don't work out, and that's being real. I mean, I wasn't the right fit, and Coach Gundy since then has done a tremendous job. And my hat's off to him and the staff and the players he recruited, and it just didn't work out at that time. It was time for me to move on, and that's what happened.
Were you confident you could still be a really good defensive coordinator after that?
Well, I was confident I could be a football coach first. The most important thing to me is at that time I was also the safety coach, the defensive backfield coach, and that comes first, being able to coach a position. And when the opportunity came back to me again, Coach Strong gave me that opportunity, and here we sit talking today right now. So what happens is anytime you have any adversity in your life, it teaches you to grow, to change, and to adjust. And that was something that, for me personally, probably was a good thing that happened to me because it gave me the opportunity to go back to the University of Michigan. I was Lloyd Carr's first hire when he got the job in 1995. And believe it or not, I was his last hire in 2007. And it was a great opportunity for me to go there and to see him go out a winner as a head football coach. I have a lot of love and respect for Lloyd Carr. And I worked with Urban Meyer when he was working with Earl Bruce at Colorado State. They gave me a chance to go there. And Coach Strong and I have known each other for a while since recruiting. When he got the job at Louisville, it was a no-brainer. So a lot of good things that happened, and the best thing that probably did happen was for Gundy to let me go because it put me in a situation to develop more as a man, to make me a better person, to make me a better coach. So what happened was what was supposed to happen to put me in a position to be where I am today.
As Charlie mentioned the other day that he thinks the leader of a defense needs to be a linebacker. That's just the way it should be. As a former DB, do you agree with that? And what have you seen from Jordan that kind of has helped him emerge as that guy on this defense?
He is 100% right. Just think of the term linebacker. That means he's half of a lineman, half of a defensive back. He is the middle of our defense. He controls our defense. He gets us the line. He makes the checks. He has to be able to drop and pass coverage and make a play. Then he has to be like a defensive lineman, take on an offensive guard one-on-one, share the block, make a tackle. You need a guy who can do it by example, also a person that's vocal. And Jordan Hicks has been that guy for us this year. And you hear Coach Strong talk about Brandon Spikes all the time when we were at Florida together. Brandon Spikes was that guy. I mean, you're talking about a linebacker. My man was 255 pounds, and that's been nice. He probably was 260. And he loved the game. He let you know that he loved the game. He showed it on game day. And a year ago, we were at Louisville, and Preston Brown, another 255-pound linebacker, was the leader for us. And right now, he's one of the top linebackers in the NFL as a rookie. So there's no doubt, the middle of your defense, if it's strong, starting with your linebackers, you probably have a chance to be pretty good on defense.
Jordan was saying that when he got lined up on White a couple times in the day, he knew that they were going to come after him. Were you worried about having a linebacker on White?
I worry about everything. I mean, I worried about a defensive backs covering White, let alone Jordan. When I saw it, I'm like, Jordan knows it's coming. I'm looking. I'm saying, okay, Malcolm Brown, I need pass rush. Said, come on now, baby. I need pressure, baby. Come on, help my man out. That's what I'm thinking on the sideline. But Jordan's a young man. He's smart. Football's a game of angles. So Jordan knew where his help was. He defended the inside, took the angle away, and made the play. That's why a linebacker needs to be a leader on your football team. He has to be smart. He has to be a coach on the football field. And Jordan gives us all those things.
Coach, how special was it to not only get the win last week, to get it in front of the home fans, and to see the outpouring of positive energy towards your head coach, and they're picking him up in the locker room? Had you ever seen anything like that?
I've seen it before, but for our fans and to play at home, and especially our student body, to see them get into it, that was exciting for me. Because, again, this is home. And I think when you talk about a football game, to me it starts with our student body. The students on this campus. That brings the energy to the stadium. You heard me talk about the previous weeks at Texas Tech and going down to Kansas State, their student body, how they get into it. Our students the other night, they got me fired up. And then after the game, we go and see and we sing to our band and the student body is right there. That's what college football is all about. The students, the enthusiasm. Because 10 years from now, those students who are at that game, they're going to say, I was there tonight. We beat West Virginia. And they went in the locker room, and the players, they body surfed Coach Strong. I was there. You remember those type of things. And that's what college football is all about to me, are the students.
Vance, along those lines, does the coaching staff feel like this thing is starting to get momentum going?
You know, right now we deep in our season towards the end of it, and we've seen some positive things. And I keep saying now, I'm the negative coach. You know, I always see the glass as half empty. And we're heading in the right direction right now. I believe the players are buying in, and we got to continue to recruit to fit some needs and then to fill some needs that's going to be leaving us, you know, like Jordan, who's a senior, and Steve Edmonds and said. But we're taking those steps. They're baby steps. Those are things we talked about, just one step at a time. You can't take a giant step. If you take one giant step, it's a good chance you're going to stumble. It's one little baby step at a time, and eventually you start taking big steps. And I think we've seen some of those things. Are we there where we want to be right now? Of course not. And we still have a long way to go, a lot of work to do. And I think the players understand that and they know that.
Coach, how do you balance, though, with you guys obviously needing to win to become bowl eligible, but Coach Strong has told guys, too, that becoming bowl eligible is not the only goal here at Texas. There's bigger goals for everybody. So, how do you approach, the importance of the game with knowing there's bigger things down the line?
I'm just going to go back to what I even said last week when you guys asked me about you just went for a bowl, for a bowl. My thing was this, is that it's just one game at a time. I'm not going to put any extra stress on the players. To me, the game itself is important, no matter what the situation is. And if you understand that, you can go out there and you can have the ability to play well. If you start putting extra pressure on guys for all the wrong reasons, it gets you in trouble. Let's just go out and be us. Let's go out and play like the University of Texas. If you do that, the rest of it takes care of itself. That means if I'm a 3 technique, I'll be the best 3 technique that day. If I'm a linebacker, I'm the best linebacker that day. So if everybody plays with outstanding fundamentals, at the end of the day, the score will take care of itself.
Vance, if I can circle back with what you said earlier, you said you grew when you left Oklahoma State. You evolved. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, a lot of times, we as individuals, sometimes we're our own worst enemy. People know me well. It's like last week somebody say, Vance, are you going to tell me the truth? I'm an outspoken person. That's just my personality. And I haven't changed. I've adjusted. I've grown as a young man. And I'm going to go back to this. My wife has taught me more than anyone ever has. I was a person at times didn't always listen. My wife taught me to listen. Said, sometimes, Vance, you don't need to fix everything. You just need to listen. It made me a better coach because it causes me to sit back and listen to the players, to understand who they are. It makes me step back and listen to head coach, assistant coaches, people walking down the hall. And that's what it does. When you have some adversity in your life, sometimes it's a good thing. And that was a good thing. Mike Gundy did the right thing. He really did. And people say, well, you ought to be a little frustrated, No. It helped me to grow as a person. It helped me to grow as a coach. And I wish the best that for Oklahoma State, for Mike Gundy and the guys who were there. Joe DeForest was at West Virginia. Joe DeForest was there. And we laughed about those things. Doug Meacham, who was there. We played University of Houston last year, Louisville. We laughed about those things. Those are things you look back and you're like, you know what? It was a good thing for all of us. We all learned something from that situation. And at the end of the day, again, I'm just going to go back to that's probably one of the best things that happened to me because guess what? I'm able to sit here and talk to you guys right now.
Coach, you always talk about your former players who are now in the NFL, and you said that Coach Strong likes to do it too. I'm wondering what Sundays are like up here. I know you guys are probably neck deep watching film. When do you have a chance to check out those guys in the NFL? And is it on highlights? Do you take a break? What is your viewing like? When
the season starts, to be honest, I really don't. I hear some other guys talk about it. Somebody might make a point where, for example, Teddy Bridgewater had a great game, so I might go and get on my phone and see what kind of stats he had. Or Preston Brown right now is one of the top tacklers in the NFL, so I might see that on Monday or Tuesday. But for the most part, on Sundays, I don't watch any NFL football. The first thing we do, I come in about 8 o'clock that Sunday morning. I'm starting to grade our game. And we get together as a staff once everybody grades the game, and we look at it as a defensive staff. And then we get together as a staff. So from 8 to 2 o'clock, I'm in lockdown mode, and at the same time, I'm working on my next opponent because we have practice afternoon. The players come over at 3. We have chapel at 3, for our players, and then we from 3 to when chapel over, then we get back watching video with the players, other games, then we go to practice, then we have dinner, and I come back over here, start looking at the video, and I leave here about 10:30 at night, so I don't watch a game. I have no idea. My Sundays are very busy right now, and I don't know anything about the NFL until probably Monday, the day after the game. And that's how I try to keep up with them as much as I possibly can.